Hello and welcome back to the Birdcage and happy holidays. I'm Jack Kenna, joined alongside Emmett Swendseid.
Yep.
Is that right?
What are you 4 for 4, 3 for 3 now?
Yeah,
Something like that.
something like that. It scares me every time I say it.
Yeah,
Um,
I see the hesitation.
Emmett, I watched a TikTok this morning before we get into what we're going to talk about today. I watched a TikTok this morning about Brian Scalabrine and how he dominated average basketball players in one-on-ones when they called him bad, and when they called him a
Because he's
bum.
closer to LeBron than I am to him, right?
Exactly. Exactly. He's closer to LeBron than you are to him. Is there any NBA player that you think you could genuinely beat in a one-on-one?
Dude, I always see these comments and like posts where it's like, if you were just playing an NBA game, how much you score, and people are like 20, like you would not score 20.
You're
I
not
would
scoring
be
20.
lucky.
You're not
I'd
scoring
be
5.
lucky. I would try to just go into my Luka Doncic foul bait and get to the free throw line because I'll hit my free throws. But dude, a genuine, you know who I think I would beat? I probably wouldn't, but I give him a run for his money. He's not even in there anymore. Killian Hayes.
Killian Hayes. Okay.
That's my poll. Would I
Okay.
beat him? No, because he was pretty good overseas. But from what I've seen, every time I bet on his under, I won some money. So
Okay. So you're going with Killian Hayes. You think you
yeah,
can take him if you're on fire?
I'll try.
Okay. You're a
I
better
don't know what's
basketball
gonna
player than
happen.
me.
He still went to the NBA, and I'm sitting on my couch watching
Exactly.
NBA
You're
players.
watching him play.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you. Honestly, I'm not beating any one of those guys unless they voluntarily say, I am not going to guard you. I'm going to sit in the paint, watch you miss, and then I just get really
I
hot.
had a
And
couple games.
that
Yeah.
would be the only way I could actually beat one of those guys. If they genuinely tried to guard me, I would just
Oh,
give them
100,
the ball.
100%.
I would give them the ball. I don't even think I'd want to get a shot off. Now
Dude,
on
have
vice
your NBA player
versa,
in mind?
no. Maybe like a,
That was a random poll too. Like, I wouldn't even beat Killian Hayes. I just thought about it
I couldn't stop them though. So like I genuinely would have to get the ball first
and not
and
miss.
then not miss. And then just pray that because like I was gonna say Chris Paul, but if I miss a shot and if Chris Paul's genuinely losing to me, like if I hit like three in a row and I'm up like 6-0, Chris Paul's gonna start playing defense on me.
He's
'Cause
gonna
that's
play
just
like the NBA that he is, and then you're
like
just not gonna
I
see
would
the
need
ball
to
again.
do someone who like genuinely doesn't care. But like also those guys don't want to get embarrassed. No, I'm not getting a shot off, I don't think.
No.
I'm gonna be for real, I'm not getting a
Maybe
shot.
if I back up, maybe if I'm down so much, and I just back up to like the half court line and pull like a Paul George, just tell him to stop, and
I
then
could see like
trust my luck.
I don't know, maybe like a Brandon Ingram just wouldn't want to play the game and would just be like,
That
bro,
he's like what,
shoot.
6'11"?
Yeah, and then he would just get the ball and dunk it every time once I miss, but I don't think I'd get a shot off. Now, on vice versa, Jeff Teague's getting canceled right now for saying that no WNBA player could score on an NBA player, like win a one-on-one against an NBA player or a college player or a G League player. I want your thoughts about that real quick because
I
I
mean,
think
it's
he's
tough.
right.
It's like I think he's right. I think well, because it's tough. You have some like it just sounds bad, but I think he's right. I don't think it's like I saw this TikTok. They were asking this like high school hooper, and I think she's like a 6'1", like I think she's listed as a forward or guard. She's pretty good. She's got offers. She said if she got ball for first, she would beat Anthony Edwards 11-0. And she was being 100% serious.
And that's not true. It's
I
not true.
don't think like
I
the
think there's just
WNBA is on a
levels
rise
to it.
because of people like Caitlin Clark, and that's cool. Like they got some hoopers, but it's just a different breed in the league.
They could beat my ass.
Oh
They
yeah,
would dominate
I'm
me,
not.
but
Yeah,
like
they
an
would they would
NBA
beat they
dude.
would beat me, but you can't have. I don't even know. You can't
I
have
mean,
someone go
like
up against like
Asia Wilson, I think went on Josh Hart's podcast and said something like, "I'd beat you in a one-on-one." Asia Wilson's a center or a forward, and she's 6'4".
yeah, and that's a
Like
guard.
no,
Like
no,
that's the thing. It's just two different league. It's just two different.
I don't know.
I mean, you just gotta watch. I don't know. Yeah, he should.
It
I don't think
was.
he should get killed. It's just tough to go about that.
I just think there's different levels to it, and I saw that today, and that it kind of inspired the question. I was a little curious.
Yeah, well, because they got hoopers. Yeah,
They
because
do have hoopers.
they would smoke me, but
They would
you
smoke
can't.
average Joes. Would they smoke NBA dudes? I don't know. That's where it gets a little questionable. But we'll switch it back. We'll focus
Yeah,
on Kansas a little bit
yeah,
here.
yeah.
The Kansas Jayhawks finally start Big 12 play tomorrow against West Virginia. I kind of touched on that a little yesterday. Wanted to have Emmett come on here and just talk a little bit KU real quick. The Kansas Jayhawks are 9-2. They're going up against the 9-2 West Virginia Mountaineers. It's going to be at Lawrence at 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Man, you can't even watch Kansas games on real television anymore.
It's crazy. So they have a good game like that on ESPN Plus, and then they have the 34-point Brown win on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anything else to do on that Sunday, but
I don't know.
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
ESPN Plus. Well, this game I think would have been a little better if Tucker DeVries was playing. He is out indefinitely with an upper body injury.
Yeah, that's
I,
big too. 'Cause that was one of the main things when I was watching him play, especially during Feast Week. I was like,
yeah, he's a bucket. He's nice.
he is.
He is nice. I'm looking at it because there's Javon Small.
I was just gonna say him. He's been hooping too. He's
He is
got almost
he's an
20,
absolute hooper.
19.7.
Yeah, he is an absolute hooper for the Mountaineers. But it's going to be a great contest. I'm excited that Kansas is finally going to open up Big 12 season. Because watching the non-conference games, Kansas had a
I'm
lot
ready.
of good non-conference games. But they also had some
Hmm.
games against, they finish out the year with Brown, which I had Sam Winton on the podcast before, and he said that was one of the better opponents that Kansas has actually played before they started non-con, which surprised me because I'm
Yeah.
kind of under the impression that you would want to get some quality opponents at least the game before you start your conference play, so you're kind of ready to go. And Brown gave us a run for our
Yeah,
money for
but
a
I
little bit.
see for a little bit until everyone started hooping. But I was just gonna talking about that. It's weird because you mentioned that, and I was looking at if there were any good games today, and there's not. But I can't remember who Auburn plays, but they play, I think like Monmouth. They're like 2-10. They're gonna win by 50, and then they go into conference play. So like it seems to be a trend, and especially for Kansas. You think about it. I don't know who their last game was last year, but in
Hmm
2022, I went to the Harvard game. Like it seems like they always play like an Ivy League school right before
hmm Yeah,
conference play.
I could see a world where I could see a world where they just schedule Ivies. That's fine. That's fun. They're gonna
They
sell
should have
out.
done
It's still
Princeton.
Kansas.
Xavier, yeah, yeah.
But the Princeton would
But
have been so awesome watching Xavier and Lee. But
he's a hooper.
he is a hooper. He can hoop at the Ivy level. Imagine he transfers to Kansas. That'd be sweet. But the Jayhawks, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think they get an easy win tomorrow. First year head coach with Darren DeVries, father of Tucker DeVries, who was the coach
The
at
Drake
Drake
guy,
last year. Drake, one of the best teams, and what do you call it? Because it's like the group of five or whatever.
the Power Five,
Well,
you talking
yeah,
about?
I
But
guess
then, yeah,
one of the better teams that one of the better low major teams. Drake was excellent last year, along with St. Louis. Those are like really the only two teams that I can really think of that were really good for like low major, mid major teams.
yeah.
But I'm
Drake's
missing a
really good
lot of
this year
them.
too. They got
Just
D2
like
hoopers.
yeah, but just off the top of my head, those are the ones that stuck out the most. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. Was an assistant at Creighton under Greg McDermott. Greg McDermott's coaching tree. If you haven't looked at Greg McDermott's coaching tree, by the way, you should. Like
I have not.
it
I'll
is
do that.
insane. He has the Oklahoma State head coach. He has TJ Otzelberger. He has the High Point head coach. He has Darren DeVries. Like, I think it's. I read something. This might be just out of my ass. I read something that his coaching tree is second in like I don't know if it was Big East or the whole country in terms of like head coaches behind Rick Pitino. So after this,
That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
I'm gonna have to look it up because it might just be Big East. Still
Which
impressive.
is still
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 impressive.
impressive, at
But
least. but
It might be
country,
Big East, but I thought I remembered it being in the country. So I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm actually genuinely intrigued now. But we'll switch the focus back on KU. This
back
is
to
a good
KU.
West Virginia team.
Yeah, this is a good. Well, and that's the thing. DeVries, I don't even think I saw that. So that's one to know that DeVries is out because that's a big loss for them.
I
And
didn't know until Sam told me.
yeah, I did not know that until you said that like 5 minutes ago or whatever. So that's a big loss. They still have Javon Small, but yeah, I mean, coming into Allen Fieldhouse is a bad situation for any team because
Hmm.
that's where KU hoops the best, obviously. But
Yeah.
I think it's a win tomorrow for them, but I think it'll still be West Virginia isn't a team to forget about, I wouldn't say.
I mean, they beat us
But
last year when they were not as good.
yeah,
Granted, that game was at West Virginia and they shot the ball
it's,
really well, but still, like
see,
teams, if teams shoot the ball well against us, they can beat us. We're not
yeah,
the
well,
invincible.
and that's what I'm saying. If we went to West Virginia, even with the breeze out, I'd still be like, because first of all, Kansas, what, they've lost 8 of their last 9 on the road going back into last season. I think
Yeah,
it's something
I
like
think it's
that.
a crazy number like that.
So even if West Virginia wasn't that solid, it's like you don't know how KU's going to play on the road yet. They haven't shown
Hmm.
real like I don't even know what I'm trying. You know
Guts.
what I'm saying though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they haven't proven anything
like
yet.
they're in control, like regardless of what arena they play in.
Yeah.
Because when they play up to the potential, I feel like in most arenas they could be better on their schedule,
Hmm. Yeah,
or
I
all of them,
agree.
honestly.
I agree. I think Kansas gets a win. I'm gonna go 18, anywhere between 10 points and 20 points. I don't think it's gonna be a 20-point blowout.
Yeah, I think it'll be a double-digit win though. I don't think they walk away off of like free throws or being like 7 points and just
No.
fouling at the end.
I think it's a
Like
pretty
they get
comfortable
like an
win for
11, twelve
Kansas.
point win.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty comfortable win for Kansas tomorrow. Let's shift the focus on something new. It is currently December 30th. Happy birthday, LeGoat. But it is December 30th.
For 0
The
for the
day
GOAT.
before New Year's Eve. This is where everyone is coming up with their New Year's resolutions. We're going to go through the Kansas Jayhawks roster and list off some, I guess, New Year's resolutions, what we think these players' New Year's resolutions could be looking into 2025. I'm going to pull up the Kansas Jayhawks roster. Let's start it off with the leading scorer, Hunter Dickinson. What do you think Hunter Dickinson's New Year's resolution should be?
And that's why I was laughing because I was gonna say as a joke, stop going out to the bars before games. I see all these Instagram posts of him everywhere. But I don't even know because that's the thing. Leading scorer, maybe stop throwing in cheap shots every now and then. He's getting me scared that he's gonna get kicked out of games. He had one
I,
against who was that? Why am I blanking on him?
he had one
Uh
against Duke when he kicked the
Duke,
Duke
obviously,
guy.
but the one that was only a flagrant one. Why am I blanking on it? It was at home a couple weeks ago. Oh,
Not
NC State. NC
NC
State.
State, yeah.
He had that. He like jumped and just completely like hooked the dude's neck. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say, yeah, maybe
You're
that.
you're
Maybe,
you're going you're going just play clean.
yeah,
I understand. I get
play
that.
his
There's a
game. Like just
fly flying around right now and I can't help but just look at it.
yeah, I
So
noticed that.
for me, it would be probably ball screen defense. Just because I think if we can get an improvement in ball screen defense, our defensive ceiling just skyrockets. When you
That
look
is true. Because
when you look about how Creighton beat us, it was literally ball screen defense, and it kind of opens everything up.
ball screen. That's a good one. And just like honestly, defense in general. Like he's not terrible, but at the same time, it's like when he's 1v1 versus slow for the big men or other like Kalkbrenner, he's losing the battle as of the
Yeah,
way he's played recently.
100%. Let's
Because he's
move
not
on.
as physical. Well,
We'll move
between
to AJ Store. We're gonna kind of just probably knock around the first six, seven guys real
yeah.
quick.
Well,
What do you
and
think AJ Stores would be?
for store, Bill Self put it perfectly. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was word for word, but someone asked him, they're like, if Story gets more minutes, what do you need him to do? And he said something like, don't force, just play his game. Like he's got to attack first and try to fly is messing with you, huh?
That
He's
fly
got
is
to
poking with me right now.
some. I don't even know if that's completely true, but he's like just play his game like he's forcing too much in the minutes he's gotten, and that's why
Mhm.
he's not seeing as much as he could. Like there's times where he probably shoots a three when his shot isn't falling, which a guy like him he should still shoot, but he can
Mhm.
also get to the rim. So if you know you can beat your guy off the dribble, get to the rim and attack.
Yeah, I think he just needs to play with a little more confidence and a
That
little
too.
more consistency. I would hate to see a guy like AJ Storr leave Kansas this summer just because he didn't feel like this was the right fit for him. Because I genuinely think he could thrive in a Kansas offense, and I really hope he kind of thinks about that. Because even if he doesn't start, and this is the kind of season we're seeing from AJ Storr, I really do think he could be a valuable piece for Kansas in the future.
Especially with the whole offseason under Bill Self,
Hmm.
or another one, I should say, because he transferred, he announced that.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I get that. It's hard to play with confidence when you're not seeing a lot of minutes. It's interesting his role he's had.
Hmm.
He's shown some signs of the potential he has, and then he's yeah, shown that he's not playing with as much confidence. I think if that skyrockets or if that goes up, we could see a very talented AJ Storr, which he is.
Let's talk about the point guard, DeJuan Harris. What do you think his would be? Because I'm gonna be honest, off the top of my head, nothing's really coming to me.
I can't. I mean, yeah, I don't
I,
know because I think with the guard he is, I know he doesn't have a lot of confidence shooting wise. I think when he scores 10, 12 points and he plays solid defense like he usually does and he's in his floor general role, Kansas wins a lot of games because they need some type of production from him
exactly.
when scoring wise. But then I feel like, and we touched on this, I think when Colton was on the podcast too. There's also times where he maybe forces too much because and I don't blame him. There's not a lot of production going, but like in that Creighton game when he shoot 21 shots,
I don't
when
think we need. I
when he
don't think
doesn't
we
shoot
need
that
him to
much,
do anything he doesn't have to do.
exactly, because he plays his role really well.
Yes,
He's a really good floor general. He brings a lot of energy on defense, and he needs to score a little bit. Kansas
hundred
needs a little
percent,
bit of production,
100
but
percent.
I think, yeah, I can't really think of anything.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
overshoot when you don't need to, but that's not even a stretch because the only times he's overshot really, and I wouldn't even say if it's that, is when other people just aren't going.
I agree. I agree. I don't think we need DeJuan Harris to do anything he doesn't have to do. He's a great player. He is one
It's a
of
great way
Kansas's
to put it.
all-time greatest point guards. We don't need him to do anything he doesn't have to do. He's already doing enough for Kansas. We'll
Mhm.
focus on a bright spot for Kansas this season so far. Transfer Zeke Mayo. He has been one of
Uh,
Kansas's better players throughout the non-conference. What do you think his New Year's resolution would be? Because I'm going to start, and I'm just going to say it's keeping this consistency throughout Big 12 play.
I would say that I would say not that it's been bad, but because Kansas just haven't played on the road. Carry this 3, 4 3-pointers, 25. Like he doesn't need to score 25 every game, but just carry that consistency of scoring from the perimeter and around the paint into road games in Big 12
Hmm.
play.
I like
Obviously at
that too.
home, obviously at home, but he seems to thrive at home. It's when you go into Houston, when you go into Iowa State, which are Iowa State's that's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys for Kansas that needs to have a decent day. Doesn't need a 30 ball, like 15 points. Like just he's hitting his shots that he hits at home.
I agree. That is a really good one. That kind of blanked my head, but yeah, those guys really even on the road, you kind of just feel like they get lost a little bit sometimes. That's a good one. How about Rylan Griffin? Another transfer, another Bama transfer. What do you think?
I think you could say something like Store.
Yeah.
Where's Alabama Griffin at?
Hmm. I agree.
Big part of the Final Four run last year, and he's kind of just there for Kansas.
Yep.
He has potential. But it's gotten to a point where he needs to take those shots because if he stops shooting, then that's even worse.
Yeah,
But
Rylan Griffin's on the floor to shoot the ball.
and there's times where he's just wide open and it's still not falling for him. And it's
Hmm.
tough to see because he can hit those. I
Oh
think I
yeah.
don't know if it's in his head. I don't know if it's a store situation where the drastic change of his role is affecting him.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, when he's out there, and everyone in the gym arena knows it. he's there to shoot the ball, and
Yeah,
it's just hitting. So
I
I think it gets that confidence back or up.
I I agree. That's the only one I got for him. We'll go over our last one here. KJ Adams. What is KJ Adams' New Year's resolution? I think if we could get KJ Adams to maybe knock down a few more of those mid ranges, I
Yeah,
think we're in
that's up.
business. Maybe even some defensive rebounding. I know
Mhm.
KJ Adams does a lot on the floor, but he gets a lot of criticism for not really being a rebounder at the four position. And so I'm switching it to rebounding. I think if we can get KJ Adams getting a few more boards, that would
I
be
like that
helpful.
too. I was thinking that. So I'll take the jumper then. Obviously, he's not going to be coming out pulling up from 23 feet, but those little when he has that couple in and out dribble and do a pull up from the elbow, few more of those to fall for KU, and that'll be along with rebounding because that's a really good one, especially on
Exactly.
defense. I noticed it a couple times, even against Brown. It felt like he was kind of just sitting there with
Exactly.
how physical he can be. It's like if you're the one jumping up with how high he can get, he's gonna grab that every time.
Exactly. I agree. There you go. Those are our New Year's resolutions for KU men's basketball. Let's talk about one more thing. If we had a genie who granted us one wish for Kansas basketball this year, what would you wish for? Could be this off season,
And
throughout the
you know,
season,
I think
anything.
I think a lot of people are gonna think this, and that is I don't know how it went down and what happened. I respect his decision when it happened because they were bringing in a lot of guards, but letting go of LeBaron Philon hurt. You
Yeah.
see what he's doing for Alabama as a freshman.
Yeah.
He brings intensity from all areas of the floor. He's a bucket getter. Losing him really hurt just because
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but because the Ryland Griffin pickup I thought was for Kansas was huge too. But you see
Uh,
him kind of struggling. You throw LeBaron in there for a couple plays. You see him get a defensive stop, maybe hit a
mm,
transition three, open three, which is what Griffin's struggling to do.
yeah.
He brings it's more intensity. Everyone could use another LeBaron Philon player.
LeBaron Philon is having an excellent freshman year. 12 points per game, four
In a
rebounds,
really
four
good
assists. Like LeBaron Philon is really just doing everything for Alabama right now, and he is excelling. If we had a LeBaron Philon on our team, I understand the reason why he left or he didn't come to KU is just because on paper you look at our team, you look at the minutes we're kind of throwing out. You're just like, yeah, I don't know how it went down, what happened, but he would have had a lot of competition at KU. And LeBaron
Mhm.
Philon just probably wanted to go somewhere where he could show out. And he's showing out. He's having a great freshman year.
Doing it.
He is doing it. He is doing it. Mine would probably be just El Marco staying healthy. Watching El Marco have to miss this entire season just kind of sucks because I think El Marco was really going to have a breakout sophomore year where he showed everyone, hey, I
I
actually
thought
am
he
the
was.
player. I actually am the player that you guys all thought I was. And he just kind of, freshman inconsistencies because I really do think Omarco can be the next, dare I say, DeJuan Harris. I'm really impressed with everything Omarco is able to do on the basketball court, and I think he will have a phenomenal next year. I just wish we got to see it this year.
And that's what when I saw that injury, that hurt because it was cool. Because I hated to see him struggle. I wanted him to have, see him do better. And I knew he was going to put work in the off season, obviously, because that's what you do. But it was cool to see Bill Self so excited about a player like that that was
Mhm.
returning, not coming as a transfer. Like he was telling people in press conferences, like, just wait, just wait for El Marco's sophomore year because he's ready.
Yeah.
Just see him go down and wasn't it not a charity game, but they're just playing for the kids, weren't they? It was like a
Yeah,
camp.
it
And
was something like that.
he just lands awkwardly or he jumps up awkwardly for a dunk, I think it was. It's just that that hurt to see.
Yeah. Definitely not exciting, but I hope Marco bounces back because I genuinely feel like he could be one of our better players next year.
100%.
I don't think that's a crazy take at all. Now, what we're gonna do, the last thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank how KU players have played on a scale of 1 to 10 throughout the season. We're gonna kind of go by
What's
minute.
your 10?
What'd
What
you
would be
say?
your what would be your 10? Like obviously not like the most insane player, but for like their
No,
expectations.
a 10 would
Like,
be a 10 would be they're excelling their expectations. And so
okay.
I'm gonna start it off
Like I would say
easy.
Superman is like
Like
a 9
an
out of 10.
example for it, a 10 for me would be like a I'm trying to think of a
Like I
college
was gonna say,
player who would be a 10 right now. I mean, probably Janai Broom from Auburn.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
everyone knew he would be good, but he is excelling his expectations. I'd say he's
But
probably a 10 right now.
yeah, because I don't want to jinx him or say it's too much, and maybe you say something different, which I'd be interested to hear just on your rating scale. Because like I'd say a guy like Zeke Mayo's up there.
Yeah, I'd say Zeke Mayo is probably a
I,
9 for me.
I'd say he's
Just
a 9 or 10.
I'd say he doesn't get the 10 just because he kind of a little bit of a road issue, which I don't
Yeah,
even think is
and that's
necessarily
why
his problem.
I respect that. But I was just gonna say for what he thought, like Kansas knew they were bringing in a shooter. I don't think they thought they were gonna maybe. Well, Bill Self, I'm sure knew it,
Yeah,
but he's doing a lot for him.
yeah. I'm gonna start it off. We got to go a little quickly. We're running out of time. We're not gonna
We're
do Shaquille
rapid
Moore
fire round.
because Moore has just kind of not been playing. Hunter Dickinson is gonna get a 7 for me because we all knew what Hunter Dickinson was. I don't think
Yeah,
you're gonna see a growth from Hunter Dickinson just because of how talented he is. I'm gonna go 7.
I'm gonna go 7 too.
We all knew Hunter Dickinson was going to be this good. AJ Store, I'm going to go 3 because we have
I
seen
was gonna say three
flashes.
or four. I was gonna say 3 or 4.
Because we've seen flashes, but he's just been a little inconsistent. I genuinely feel like he has the potential to be one of Kansas's better players on this team. We just got to hope we
100%.
find it. Dwan Harris, what are you going to go with?
I feel like it's something like Hunter Dickinson. Like when he came back this year for another year, I thought that was huge, but I knew what I was
Mhm.
gonna see.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6. I don't think
Yeah,
he had
I was gonna
much of
say
an impact,
or
like
seven
the
or eight.
impact as much as Hunter Dickinson, but he's still one of
Yeah,
the best
well,
guards in the
yeah.
country.
I just meant more like it's not like he was gonna come back. Oh,
Exactly.
like I did not expect this to happen. Like
Yeah,
he
he
plays
wasn't going
the
to
same
start shooting
role.
5 threes a game.
Yeah, but he plays the same role, and like what you said, I think he's one of the best point guards in the country. If you're talking about true point guards, I'll
Hmm.
argue with that he's the best.
Let's start with we'll go with freshman Raquise Passmore. I didn't think Raquise would get a lot of minutes this year. I'm impressed with what he's been able to do. I don't know come Big 12 play if he's going to see a whole lot, but so far what I've seen, I will give him a 7 or 8. I'm impressed
Really?
with the minutes that I've seen from Passmore. I because my idea was I just didn't know how much he would play.
Yeah, I'll give him like a 6, 7 range.
Hmm.
I mean, because he's a freshman coming in. You put it perfectly. Yeah, I didn't know how much he was gonna play,
Hmm.
but so yeah, I mean, I'll give him the benefit of that. It's definitely been yeah more than I thought.
Zeke Mayo, we've already talked about. We won't talk about it. He's had an excellent year. 9 for me.
Yeah,
Rylan Griffin. Again, this is going to be an AJ story. I'm going to go 5.
4. Yeah,
I'm going to go 5
4, 5.
because he seems to be
Done a little
getting
more.
start more than store.
He's done a little more than Store. Honestly,
I don't know. I'm going to go
I
5.
don't. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4 or 5. I'll go 4.
Now, we like media people who get to go on podcasts and kind of talk about this. We overlook who starts, but in reality, it's who finishes. So,
Yeah,
I mean, even though Rylan Griffin does seem to start more of the games, it really will just come down to how coach feels. But for Rylan Griffin, I'm going to go 5. I think he has the potential, again, to be one of our better players. David Coit, I'm going to be
ooh,
on. I did not know how much David Coit would be playing for Kansas
especially a
back.
small guard. I'm gonna say like a 7.
Yeah, I'm
He's
impressed. I'm going to go
been
8.
big for KU in certain moments.
He's a he is a shoot it at will. Like I'm
Hmm.
going to go into the game. I'm going to get my shots up. I'm going to try to move the ball. I really like what Diggy
I
Quick
don't
can
think he
bring to an
for like
offense.
I I agree with that 100%. And adding on to I'm gonna go and get my shots. It's not like a oh I'm pulling from the logo. Like I don't
Mm-mm.
think he forces too much. His
I don't think
shots,
he forces bad shots either.
he's gonna get his good. He's gonna get his shots. Yeah,
Exactly. Diggy Coy, 8 for me. KJ Adams.
I feel like this is kind of like a Dewan Hunter, not like talent wise, but like I knew the same physical like monster dude was gonna come back and just
You knew what
try
he
to
was
take the
gonna
rim
do.
off, try to take the rim off of every hoop, maybe get a
Mhm.
couple floaters because he kind of developed that a little bit last year. I feel like inside the paint
Mhm.
touches.
I really like kind of your thought process because with Hunter, Dewan, and KJ, you knew what they were gonna do. Like Bill Self called them the big three. You knew
Mhm.
that every single game, those were gonna be like the go-to guys. So I'm gonna go 7. I think it's just kind of just right with what we have. Like that's his role. He's gonna play to his role. I don't think we can ask for anything too much more.
100%.
Flory Badunga. What do you think his rating has been? I'm gonna go
Like a 5. Man.
9.
You think not? Okay, I'm trying to think because
Again,
I
I
was
just didn't know how much he was gonna play. Like I thought he was gonna be playing like anywhere from like 5 to 8 minutes a game.
yeah.
And I
Well,
think
and let me
even
show you.
when he hasn't like when we've had to rely on Flory for a few minutes or stretches at times, he's shown that he can do it.
And that's why. So I don't know why I honestly said 5 because I thought this is the first thing I thought of with him. And I was thinking more of like a New Year's resolution going back to that. He just he's really good. He's really raw. He has a lot of potential. And you talk about, yeah, Duke game, Dickinson gets kicked out, he plays the last 10 minutes. Huge.
I'm
I
begging
was
he
thinking
comes
more
back
of
next year.
when it gets into the paint, I think he does too. I think he should. I think that'd be a great move for him.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of just stop hacking. He's a guy that can get up there. He's just gotta be like this. He loves to hook them when they go up.
He has to
Or
watch
have
Kalkbrenner highlights.
he has a hand on their hip or around their hip. He's just gotta play straight up because he can do that
Yeah,
against these guys. And
100%.
he's just gotta
100%.
stop hacking. But yeah, I probably will change. 5 was a little harsh because
I see what you're saying though too. Defensively, he's kind of been a little bit of a foul guy. Maybe an eight's better because I
but
think he has shown flashes to where he can play basketball.
I guess we both because you thought about that, and then I didn't think about the offensive side. I mean,
Hmm.
huge Duke games or the Duke game, and just yeah, we had to rely on him. I mean, what he's like, he's pretty good on the offensive side
Yeah,
for what he can. I mean, he can bring more because he has a lot of potential to be one of those guys. But yeah, I'd probably bump it up to like a 7.
yeah, I agree. That is all that we have for today's episode of the Birdcage. Emmett, I appreciate you taking the time with me this morning to talk
Thank
to
you
me.
for having me on.
And for all the viewers, Kansas Jayhawks are back in action tomorrow, December 31st against West Virginia at 1 p.m. If you can't make the game, it's on ESPN Plus. We will see you guys later. Happy holidays.